I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
I'm Sophia Alo. I am an entrepreneur, a mom. I'm 33 and happy to be here.
I'm Amy, I'm 23, I'm an activist and a student.
Hi, I am Zinhle Hashe, everyone calls me Z. I am radio presenter, BDist and all kinds of things. Happy to be here too.
Hello, I'm Monica and I'm completing my PhD degree in anthropology, so I'm here as a student and I'm also a mom.
I'm Sidi, entrepreneur, mom, voiceover artist. Happy to be here too.
But on a serious note though, these white men look at us, ne?
No,
My ex
used to literally sit next to me
from
and
6
do
years old
this.
to 50
like,
to 80, they stare at us.
stare.
There'll be white girls in short shorts and you're walking down there with your long dress and a duke and these white men are like, oh, look at that one. Like, seriously.
Yeah, but with that leery.
I think they're scared to just approach us because, you know, you're white and maybe it's, I don't know what's going on in your head, but maybe it's not.
Because it's proper.
I find it's easier for black men to just walk up, because that's what they do to us. They walk up to you, they say sister, whatever. And if he's brave enough, he's going to do that to a white girl, colored girl, whatever. The white man is going to sit there and think about it while staring at you for 2 weeks. You see what I mean? But he's staring at you. So I think it does play a role, the attraction and everything. When I met the German, he was tall, he was gorgeous. I was like, oh, Lord. You know what I mean? And Sarah was like, ooh, Jesus love. Yeah, and he looked at me and he thought, ooh, you know? Yeah, so it worked out, and then I got to know him. I was like, ooh, Sana, this one, I can't do. So I think, sometimes I don't know.
And that's what you get. You get in activist circles where, like, someone who has just broken the molds, and I'm like a woke white guy, and da-da-da-da, and part of your brownie is to have yourself a black girl. Yeah, and if she's got an afro, and she, like, dresses like me, then, great, because now you really are. Because the thing is, I don't think attraction happens just because, I think there's an animal level, like an animalistic level where maybe the opposites attract and there's that thingy, but I think we live in a world so built on constructs that I don't think we get attracted simply because of I see you and I think, I see you and I see.
You talk about level of beauty, what is attractive?
There is a hierarchy, right? I'm not just trying to bring up the intersectional card because I want to dismiss all this level of racism, but there is a hierarchy. There's white supremacy, so there's this historical objectification of the black bodies, black women in particular. There's a history that has exploited that racial construct in order to develop, wealth in the white world. So there is that, and I think white people, really, for the majority, particularly the white here, has not really understood that.
I just wanted to point out the other extreme, like where we come from as well. You've got the KC version that, for lack of a better term, you've got that jungle feverness that comes with, so they want a village black woman and they want her to be blue, man. She must not be black, man. She must be blue. She must talk with the LR situation. The blacker the better. The more she reminds me of something I've typically seen on television, the better, right? So you've got that as well, and so it's not a clear cut, where they come. Yeah,
it's just their different levels.
My mom calls it jungle fever. So whenever a white man or a black man is
earlier as well,
then she's like, oh, it's jungle fever.
For me, the questioning became when all these microaggressions and slights that are happening in the family, when people would say things about, there's black people, and go, but when talk about you, and when people would be like, but you're not the locals, you're different. And you're like,
which is a
very
thing in South Africa.
And the other thing, I heard the other day that actually, I have a couple of friends who go out with black men, married black men. I don't know if this has happened to you. I keep hearing this. He'll say to you, no, my family will love you. We expect our black family to love the white girl. This friend of mine asked me, do you think they'll be okay that he chose a white girl? I was like, honey, they're okay with it. Did that happen to you? Like, did you have this, they love me. You walked in there was no, because we're scared to go to the black family's mama. But when you're white, you get this, It's all right. They love me. I'm white. You know, they're not gonna ask me to kill a chicken immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, no, it was a problem. I mean,
Was it a problem?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Thank you, Jesus. You had a problem.
of course.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean,
had serious problems about my brother bringing home white girls. It was
Really?
Yes.
Like she wanted a black girl.
When it was the other way around, if I brought home a white man, it would be like, oh, so she's going somewhere. Like he's going, like she's the girl. Someone needs to look after her. But my brother was going to carry on the family name. You need to see like that. That's part of the patriarchy. Like so for my brother, it was like you need to bring home a black woman that can bear these black babies, and you can continue this family name. You don't just But when I brought them home, and then my brother was raised differently. I come from like my brother's 10 years older. My sister's another 5.
Yeah.
So I was raised amongst white people. They were raised traditional. So for them, it was like, how dare you? For me, it was like, oh God, there she goes again. It was not like everyone kind of just went, ugh, she was bound to do that, and like whatever. She thinks she's white anyway, so
Yeah, so
you know.
it's cool.
But like for my brother, it was like.
Don't do that,
And
bring
people
a black girl.
people didn't take her seriously. Like,
Yeah.
so when there were family issues and she had something to say, people would be like, you're not part
No,
of
but
this
you don't
culture.
even
Like, you
understand.
don't know what's going on. So in my family, it was the other way around. It was like,
Wow.
if you're going to bring a white person home, it needs to be someone with money. It needs to be a man with a
Generally,
big job.
Yeah,
It
but
needs to
generally,
be, like,
our mothers always assume that if you go with a white person, then
That
they
means he's
definitely
well
have
off.
money. He's definitely well off. White people have money. Yeah, my family actually followed me because I didn't tell
expectation
anyone I
with
was leaving, and I absconded with this white man. They actually followed me only because they heard that he's white. He must have money. He's from Germany. Oh my God, euros! Get it back.
Yeah.
Is it like,
Let him pay that lobola,
you
baby.
are not getting a
Make it.
wife for free. You know what I mean? I don't think if I'd gone with a black man, they'd be like, you're not getting a wife for free. They'd be like, oh, let it go. She's a, you know what I mean?
As a Kenyan, I never realized that I was black until I moved to South Africa. And I mean, I was black in context, in theory. I was black. The black struggle was not at the forefront of my mind. You understand? When I was, growing up in Kenya, it was probably something I thought my mother mostly dealt with. And I felt, okay, naively so, but I felt born free.
Yeah.
And then I moved to South Africa and I was like, Black City. And then Black City speaks for all the black women. And black, you must,
That's the one.
your accent, the way you dress, the way you talk, everything about you, black, 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 first title. So that definitely affected that relationship, or anything else.
I
there.
didn't like the
Anything
looks.
that
I'm going to be
happens
honest.
here.
I did not like the looks. This one time in Company Gardens, a Chinese couple actually stopped and took a picture of us. I couldn't believe we're this thing, and he would hold my hand very exhibition there's my and it would make me feel really uncomfortable because he saw people staring and he wanted to prove this thing, and I didn't care. We don't hold hands. Don't hold my hand. Let's not put in a show. I'm having a fight with you. I'm going to storm off. And now when I do that, then it looks like, oh, look at them. That's what they do. But I don't care because to me, but like you were saying, in the Eastern Cape, the white people are not like the white people here. There, I can say the white people and they're okay with it because they know they're the white people. Here, it's like, don't say that. That's racist. But let's not let's not, you're the white people. And it's very evident in Cape Town, the differences are so, and so,
Very cliquey, indeed. It's blacks together, whites together, and
So
then
when
Afrikaner white together,
the blacks
English
are
white
together, then
So
the whites are with the white blacks, with the very privileged blacks.
Right, with the very privileged.
The rah one who speak with the white accent and not our black accent. Yes, I'm with you there.
And especially when a white woman is dating a black guy, it's not your traditional black guy that's gonna come with his Xhosa accent and
Oh no, it's never.
hardly ever.
Except if you're in Kenya, in the middle of the
It's the boys with hot potato. And they'll tell you, I don't date black girls.
No, there's a look, and I think if we're talking about
that's easy to pronounce,
I think if we're talking about interpersonal relationships, let's talk about friendships as well. If we're gonna do that, and being in spaces where it's really interesting. The older I've grown, and it's become really uncomfortable. Is I had all these white friends because I worked in white spaces and I did things and now it's so different because it's just that I can't sit there and do the casual things that white people say. And they say them without a sense of anything. Just people are saying things in the middle of a conversation, someone goes, you know what? I'm not gonna get a nanny. I'm gonna have an au pair because The nannies, the African nannies, they're not trained. They don't know. Like, I'm like, listen, black women have been raising white children for generations. What are you talking about?
Black people went to freaking Europe and taught them how to farm their animals. What you talking about?
This is weird for me. In this context, in this country, a white person is gonna say that at a table with another black person. And listen, all your kids have been raised. You were raised by black people.
You probably speak Xhosa better than I do.
But here's
type
the
of,
thing
you
about it.
know?
And then someone will make these general conversations these general comments in a conversation that you as a black person get tired of defending. So what you do is you shut down, you walk away because you are the fighter now. You constantly are fighting.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting.
A friendship ended because he was calling Texas Black Seas. And I was like, okay, well, that's not funny. And he's like, no, because, one of us we saw a white person in the taxi, like that thing.
People call them the black taxis. And I'm like, I don't understand what that's
He
about.
calls them Black Seas. Wow. I was like, oh, no, I can't even see it.
Technically,
For this particular context, South Africa, which is definitely missing on anti-racial work, anti-racist work. There's really a lack of historical memory of going through the generation from the transition at 94 until present, of what also other of them integrated, or the whole history of non-racialism in this country. What has happened? Really, like if you see the Rhodes Must Fall and all these young white kids that were trying to participate in this struggle, they really had to understand what politics was. There's a missing understanding of politics. There's really a lack and a gap in the white South African community about what it means. But
Black
also,
history is not taught in the white community at all.
Yes.
Black history is not taught to black people
But
at
also
all.
what it is to be political and to be engaged, like what it means, like I'm in the middle, and to really be part of something that is larger than your community, right?
I think just sort of like wrapping up, the general idea is that interracial relationships, I feel like they're individual, and I think that if the couples within them have to have their own agency and autonomy to a certain extent. And I think, we can talk generally about them, but I think that there are so many different things that happen in these spaces. But on a general, I think there are too many constructs that we don't speak about. There are too many things that we don't break down. And it kind of makes them sticky.
My dream is happiness for everybody. Like, it sounds cheesy, but that really is what it is.
My dream is for everyone to be honest, like this political correctness and politeness, to just stop already, and for people to be honest, then we can communicate better, honestly.
My dream is for myself to be able to cultivate seeds of joy and peace inside.
Well, my dream is basically to save as many animals as I can.
Well, my dream is for everyone to come, like I recently have been learning, to come in touch, or to come into alignment with their true self, with what they really want, be really honest with themselves.